Hello everyone, this is Simon, your host for the Modern Awakened Perspective, your map for the path to enlightenment. And I've got a few stories here for you today, a couple short stories and something good for the end. Make sure you watch to the end because that's a really important piece in my opinion. Okay, the first story is about the site BuzzFeed and they're laying off employees. So the platform BuzzFeed is reportedly laying off 15% of its employees, of its staff, and they're saying it's due to the competition from places like Google and Facebook. But I believe there's more to the story than what meets the eye. See, they have been in trouble recently for publishing several stories that turned out to be fake news. And my only question is, are they failing because of the bad journalism? Or are they creating the bad journalism because they're failing and they're trying to get attention by any means necessary? They're trying to boost their revenue because they know that's the only chance they have to stay relevant. So they're willing to do, underhanded and shady stories to make it happen. Either way, I'm very happy that this company is getting closer to demise because we need truth in media. We don't need any more of this fake news crap. Basically, we need more people that tell the truth instead of pushing their own agenda and push propaganda, just for ratings. You know, it's clearly all about the money these days. All anyone wants is the truth, even if it hurts. But what hurts the most is being slapped in the face with stories that are so grotesquely inaccurate. They must think we're complete idiots if we're going to fall for this stuff. Luckily, we have people who are willing to do some research for themselves because they do a better job than the journalists do. All right, now the next story is one I'm sure a lot of people are already familiar with. It's the postponement of the State of the Union address. Now, I've talked about this in my last video, that there had been a back and forth between Trump and Pelosi where she invited him, then disinvited him, and he was going to have an alternative to the traditional, address at the House of Representatives or whatever. But it now seems Trump has decided to postpone the speech altogether until the government shutdown is over. Now, Pelosi, to not seem petty, was blaming her disinvitation to have the speech at the traditional location due to security concerns. But the Secret Service and the Department of Homeland Security have said that there's no problem with things going on as scheduled. So there's clearly a conflict there between one of them is just being petty, which is Pelosi, obviously. Now, there's something going on deeper here, in my opinion, also. You know, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, but I believe there's something going on that the general public's not aware of. And maybe Trump has a grander plan himself, and so he agreed to postpone it. Or, I'm wondering if he's thinking that maybe they've cleared, this new location, but he's not feeling safe himself. Maybe he's wondering if they're planning another JFK moment. Again, I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but they've done crazy stuff before to make sure that any voice they don't want heard gets extinguished. So you never know. Now moving on to my final story here, and this one is one that's near and dear to me because this is sort of like right up my alley here. And this story is about the banning of conservative voices on social media. So this story's sad, and I hate to even have to write about it, but social media like Twitter and Facebook have been banning and shadow banning conservative voices for a while now, and clearly they don't care about free speech in reality. They only care about the voices that push the agenda that they have in mind. And so that doesn't seem like free speech at all. It's all very one-sided. Now, the latest journalist to have his account terminated is a guy named Peter Diabrowska, a writer for what's called Big League Politics. His account was banned for no reason whatsoever. They claim some sort of that he was trying to skirt some sort of a permanent ban, but he had no prior issues at all. So how can it be skirting a permanent ban if he was never in trouble in the first place? It's all completely ridiculous, just some excuse to get rid of a conservative voice. Now, this, despite many people on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, etc., all recently saying horrible things and inciting violence against the high school kids from Covington Catholic because they were all, supporting Trump and the Make America Great Again movement. So people went as far as to say they should be burned alive inside of their school. They should just burn the whole school down with the kids inside. Some suggested they throw the kids in the wood chipper head first, while they're still alive. So you would think something as disgusting as that would have people be facing some consequences because it violated the terms and conditions of Twitter and Facebook, etc. But those people obviously, had faced no consequences, had no repercussions, because those are probably the same views that Twitter, Facebook, YouTube have themselves. So despite their call for violent actions, they have their accounts fully intact with no strikes, no warnings whatsoever. Now, all these accounts, deserve the same treatment, in my opinion. They should be terminated. While the people who are just voicing their opinions, conservative point of views, have to tiptoe around to make sure that they don't say the wrong thing, even though it's clearly not nearly as bad as what these other people have been calling for the deaths of children, but yet they get their stuff banned or shadow banned. And if you're not familiar with shadow banning, it's where they use their computer algorithms on their platform to make people, to make conservative voices hard to find when people are searching for them. Now, if you're familiar with my channel here, with the Modern Awakened Perspective, it's a fairly new account. And so I recently started a Twitter account to go along with this and help get the message out there. And so when I signed up, they ask you questions like, what subject matter are you interested in? And then they make recommendations based on what you say that you are interested in following. And so one of the subjects I signed up to, or said I was interested in, was politics. And of course, in their list of recommended people that I follow, there was like the first 30 people were all liberals, people which I really have no interest in listening to them whatsoever. Besides that, their opinions get force-fed to me anyway, so I don't need to go search it out. It's going to be thrown in my face and shoved in my face. I really only wanted to follow President Trump. So, needless to say, the commander-in-chief, the guy that everyone should be wanting to get information from, was not recommended to me whatsoever. He was so far down the list, I would have probably never found him. I had to go seek out his account myself, which, I was willing to do. But it just goes to show how they're just trying to shove the liberal agenda and their type of propaganda down everyone's throat, that was the only type of politicians they were willing to recommend for a new account. This is just totally disgusting to me, and I really think we need to find a new platform where free speech is actually free for everybody. Now, if you like this information, please subscribe. Please share this video please hit the notification bell so you know when I post a new video, which I try to every day. Also comment in the comment section if you agree with what I'm saying or if you don't agree. That way people can hopefully find this message and my account isn't shadow banned. Alright, thanks guys. I'll see you on the next one.